Hello and welcome everyone to the first ever episode of the Division II National Student Athlete Advisory Committee's Champions for Life podcast. Our hope and goal throughout this series is to connect with professionals associated with D2 athletics and prior D2 athletes to see where they are in their post-college lives, what got them where they are in their career, and how their Division II experience helped prepare them for the next stage, both on the court and field and off the court and field. My name is Wiley Cain. I'm currently a junior quarterback at Kentucky Wesleyan College. I major in biology with a minor in chemistry and business, and I also serve as the current chair of the Division II Student Athlete Advisory Committee. Today, I'm pleased to be talking to Alex Shillow. Alex was a football standout for Texas A&M-Commerce, winning a national championship there, multiple all-conference titles, and I could ramble on about him. But he was also the former chair of Division II National SAAC, working on so many amazing initiatives with the committee. He's currently the Assistant Director for Development in the Athletics Department at the University of Alabama at Birmingham. Alex, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today.
Yeah, man, Wiley, appreciate the warm introduction. Excited and humbled to be here. It's great to give back and to be able to speak, hopefully life into other athletes getting ready to transition, but appreciate the invite.
And we are so happy that you accepted the invite. I think that it's going to be a great way to kick off this podcast on the right foot, having someone who has so much experience with SAAC. So let's jump right in. So could you provide a little more background on what you do currently?
Yeah, like Wiley said, I'm the Assistant Director for Development at UAB. So work heavily in our athletics department doing athletic fundraising. My focus is annual funds, so fundraising for student athlete scholarships, supporting our capital projects and buildings we're building on campus for our student athletes. You know, our facilities athletes are competing in, where they're eating, where they're training, and things like that. And so that's my focus, to handle all of our social and marketing content when it comes to the Blazer Boosters. And so anything digital, anything on social media, that's me. I'm your guy for it. And so handling a bit of portfolio there to just raise money and to blast our message out and share what our student athlete story is, to hopefully garner support from locals, the local community, from former student athletes and supporters on campus.
That's really cool. And I know that that's a big time role in many athletic departments. It's really amazing that right out of college, you were able to transfer your experience from Division II right into a job at a big time Division I university. So in that role, what would you say are the three biggest skills you transferred from your experience in college athletics to the workplace?
Yeah, I would say definitely, you know, being a student athlete, A&M-Commerce, the first thing you probably know is time management, knowing how to basically know how I can be flexible and manage my time well. Being a student athlete, you got to juggle so many things at once. And here, you know, there's multiple tasks I'm handling at once, right? Marketing, social media, fundraising, visiting with donors, making calls. That's a lot that goes on in a regular week. And so being able to schedule out what my day looks like, to be organized is huge, knowing what I need to focus on each and every day when I come to the office. I would say the next thing is accountability. And so being a former student athlete, you know, you're teammates and you have teammates, and I need to be accountable to them. I need to be accountable to the coaching staff and be accountable to the program. Same way here, I got to be accountable to my team in Blazer Boosters, because UAB athletics and the student athletes at UAB are depending on me to make those calls, to get out and get those visits, and hopefully drive revenue for the athletic department. And so being accountable for what my task is. And I would say the last thing is that drive for success. You know, you're trying to reach a goal as a student athlete, and same thing here. You know, we're trying to raise as much money as we can. We're trying to build as many buildings as we can. And so always driving to be successful, to get that gift to the door, to make that next call, to get that next visit. You know, you learn that as a student athlete in college, and I've taken that with me into the workplace. So it looks a little bit different. I might not be showing up at 6 a.m. to get an extra lift in or staying after to do those things, but I might be making that extra phone call, showing up an extra place just on my own time, so I can just be of use to other people in the office to help out, to make sure we're driving our mission forward. And so, like I said, time management, accountability, and that drive for success are the biggest three things that help me into my career now.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and those are three huge parts of athletics, and it's really nice to know that something that you learn there just carries over so well into the workplace. So speaking of carrying over, what was the hardest part of your transition from athletics to your career? I know that you had such an amazing career at Commerce. You had an amazing career doing things for student athletes through this committee and through other venues. What was the hardest part of transitioning out of that into a career outside of athletics?
Yeah, I had a great experience at Commerce. It was a blessing to be there, to land in that spot for 5.5 years, and to be on Division II National SAAC. It was just an amazing experience. And I would say the toughest part is understanding that it's going to be a little lonely when you transition, right? I don't wake up every day and I don't have 100 guys I'm hitting the locker room with and get out the field and grind and working hard together with. It's tough. You know, you move to a different city, you're by yourself, you're a little lonely in the fact of, hey, I'm getting up and going to work. I'm not going to meet, 100 people. I'm going to meet a few people in the office, which is still awesome, but it's just different. And then, you got to be able to deal with that. And it comes so quick, right? It doesn't take time. It don't wait on you. Right when you get that job and roll into it, boom, there it is Monday morning. And so having to adjust with that newness of life and what it looks like, and it's different. And, you got to slow it down and be able to understand that this is what life is going to be like now. And so it's a struggle at first. It was a struggle at first, but just getting used to, this is my new world. I've been doing this for 5 years and longer than that, 10 plus years when it came to, playing ball in middle school, high school, things like that. It comes fast. And this is kind of life moving forward. You just got to adjust to it. And so that was the biggest struggle, I would say, right after when I first transitioned. But, I work with a great team, work with great people. So I'm blessed to have them around me and support me to do what I love doing. And I would say doing what you love makes it a lot easier. So that's helped me kind of get through this transition phase of life from being a student athlete to now my career.
And Alex, something you mentioned there that I just want to dive a little deeper on, because I know you have a great answer to this question. So how did you realize that college athletics was your passion? How did you realize that, you say doing what you love, how did you realize that that was going to be what you loved doing, so to make the transition easier?
Yeah, I would say I fell in love with college athletics when I got to college. If I would have told you right when I got to school what I wanted to do, I wanted to be a high school football coach in Texas. I wanted to make $80,000 a year, and I didn't want to teach ever. And so that was not realistic. And honestly, when I got involved with SAAC, I got to see, hey, this is the opportunity that you have to impact student athletes from an administrator standpoint. And I fell in love with that piece of being able to not just have one sport I can touch and impact, but touching and impacting all student athletes for the athletic program. And so fell in love with it, got involved on our campus. And so I was thankful for my experience there, because I was able to get involved and to be able to get plugged in to learn what a Division II college athletic department looked like, and just kind of was always a fly on the wall and kept learning. And it opened me up for an opportunity to get this position afterwards. And so really just my experience at A&M-Commerce opened me up to the opportunity to work in college athletics, which is my passion.
Awesome. And it's a blessing to be able to come in and realize, not only realize what your passion is, but then plug right into it. And I know you're so successful in that aspect. So now, looking back at your college experience, were there specific aspects of Division II that helped you in finding your career? So be it, the school life balance, opportunities provided, et cetera.
Yeah, honestly, that balance of being able to be a student athlete and do things outside of your sport is big. Was able to take advantage of summer internships, was able to take advantage of working while I was playing. And so got that experience while I was there that helped me kind of be prepared for that next step after college, because it's tough sometimes, right? You're a student athlete, you don't get the opportunity to take all those internships your friends are getting that aren't student athletes, or to get all that work experience in the summers if you're training. But here, I got that opportunity to take a summer and do an internship to work while I was still training in the summer and during the year. So, Division II allowed that to be accessible to us as student athletes. And I wouldn't trade that for the world, because it put me so many steps ahead than what I would have been if we didn't have that opportunity. So those are things that I will never, that can never be taken away, and I will never take for granted. I'm very thankful for, being a Division II student athlete to have that, because I'm just set up better to succeed once I graduated and got done playing football.
Awesome. And so with my last question, I really want to dig deep into your rich stores of information and advice. I know that you're very young out in the workforce, but you've already accomplished so much. So if you could give one piece of advice to our viewers, to a student athlete transitioning to the next stage of their career, what would that be?
I would say your journey is your journey. and really listen to that, because like I mentioned, some of your friends might be steps ahead in you in life. Let's be real. They might be making more money than you. But don't worry about that. Your journey is your journey. Don't be upset that you being a student athlete might have put you a couple of years behind on where your friends might be who, went straight into the workforce out of high school or got a jump start after college into the career. You're going to get the opportunity. Don't worry about the phone call you never got back from a job. Don't worry about the no you heard. Sometimes that no is your biggest blessing, because you got something else on the other side of the door that you don't know what could be coming. So just understand that you're going to run your race, your journey, all those things, and just be prepared for when your opportunity comes, because that's going to be the right one for you. You can't do anything about the no's you hear. You can't do anything about the doors that shut in your face. But when you have opportunity and the doors open, you can walk right through it and take advantage of it. And so I would say, don't get discouraged for where you are. You're right where you're supposed to be. And then once your opportunity comes, it's going to be the right one for you and you can take advantage of it. So love your experience, love what you did in college, and just be prepared for the opportunity that comes next for you, because it's going to be the one that's supposed to be for you. And I would say that's the biggest thing that's helped. And when you get there, you'll see it. And if you're discouraged with it right now, don't worry about it, because your opportunity is coming.
Well, Alex, wise words. Thank you so much. And again, I cannot thank you enough for taking the time to join us in on our first ever podcast. I know I learned so much from this conversation, and you and I have been friends for multiple years, and I'm just learning so much just sitting here listening. Alex, thank you for being part of the inaugural podcast.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me.
To our audience, first of all, I'm going to ask for a little audience participation. So on the YouTube platform, we're hoping that you guys can come up in the comment sections and tell me and the group putting out this podcast, what is one skill that you have learned from either being a college athlete or being involved in a college athlete that you found the most helpful? We know we talked to Alex a little bit about transferable skills. I know I would say that my skill is putting others above myself. That's the biggest one that I've learned in college athletics. But I'd like to hear from you guys. What do you think is the biggest skill? And if you want to put it on Twitter, you can at D2 SAAC on Twitter page. So just give us a little participation there. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Champions for Life. Be on the lookout for the next episode coming soon. We're going to have so many action-packed episodes with groups of people who are going to be giving advice in so many different fields. And I think that this opportunity with this podcast is going to turn into something that is going to help so many people. So thank you so much for tuning in. Cannot wait to see you next time. Thank you.